The sky above Earth glowed with an eerie red hue, signaling the approach of the Galactic Empire. From the command center in New York, Admiral Harris stared at the holographic map, heart pounding. Messages from deep space scanners confirmed the worst. Thousands of Imperial ships were moving toward Terran space. Panic rippled through the city as citizens watched the sky, wondering if humanity was about to face its final hour. Harris called an emergency meeting of the Terran Council. Scientists, generals, and leaders crowded the room, voices clashing over the only choice: fight or surrender. "We cannot let them enter our space," Harris said firmly, but uncertainty filled every face. Outside, the first scout ships of the Empire breached the orbit, their engines glowing like molten fire. Terran defenses fired, but the beams barely scratched the invaders. A sense of doom spread. Earth had never faced an enemy like this. Meanwhile, deep underground, Dr. Lena Ortiz uncovered a strange pattern in the Empire's fleet movement. "They are fast, but predictable," she whispered to her team. A risky plan formed: lure the Empire into a trap using their own tactics against them. The Council hesitated, knowing failure would mean annihilation. The first clash erupted in orbit, streaks of light slicing through the darkness, ships exploding, alarms blaring, and Harris realized the stakes were higher than anyone imagined. Just when hope seemed lost, an unexpected signal arrived, an unknown ally offering intelligence and secret technology. With barely a moment to decide, Harris accepted. Using the newfound knowledge, Terran forces struck back, targeting weak points with precision. The Empire faltered, ships scattering into the void. Cheers erupted on Earth, but the victory was bittersweet. Somewhere in the galaxy, the Empire would regroup, plotting a return. Harris looked at the sky once more, a shiver running down his spine. Humanity had won today, but the war was far from over. The Terran Council met again, tension thick in the air. Every face showed fatigue, fear, and determination. Admiral Harris stood at the head of the table, eyes fixed on the star maps projected in holographic light. The Empire's fleet had retreated for now, but intelligence suggested it would return, stronger, faster, and more relentless than before. Every second counted. Dr. Lena Ortiz and her team analyzed the alien technology the mysterious ally had provided. The devices glowed faintly, humming with energy that seemed almost alive. "This can give our fleet an edge," Lena said, her voice trembling with excitement and fear. "But we have to act quickly. The Empire's next move will be deadly." Council members exchanged uneasy glances. They had no choice but to prepare for war. Meanwhile, across Earth, civilians struggled with fear. Messages from military command urged calm, but panic spread like wildfire. Families packed essentials, ships in orbit scrambled for protection, and rumors of spies within Terran ranks only worsened the anxiety. Some believed the Empire's defeat was only temporary, others feared the galaxy itself had turned against humanity. Admiral Harris convened his top pilots in a secure briefing room. "The Empire knows our defenses. They'll strike where we least expect it," he warned. The pilots nodded, determination replacing fear in their eyes. Every crew member knew the mission could cost their lives, but surrender was not an option. Earth's freedom hung in the balance. Days passed with tense preparation. New weapons were installed, fleets trained, and spies tracked. Then came a strange transmission from deep space, a coded warning, not from the Empire. The message was brief: "They are not alone. Watch the shadows." Panic erupted. Could the Empire have allies hiding in the darkness of space? Every plan seemed fragile now. As night fell on Earth, the sky shimmered with distant lights, signals of the Empire's reconnaissance ships. Terran satellites tracked their movements, but one question haunted everyone: what were the shadows the warning spoke of? Harris and Lena stared at the monitors, feeling a creeping dread. This was no ordinary battle. Something far larger and more dangerous was moving toward them. For the first time, humanity realized the war for Terran space was more than a fight against the Empire.
It was a battle for survival against the unknown. Every heartbeat felt heavier, every decision more critical. And as the night deepened, a single thought echoed in Harris's mind. They had only survived the first act. The real test was yet to come.
The first real clash began in the darkness of orbit. Terran ships, sleek and glowing with new energy shields, moved cautiously toward the Empire's approaching fleet. Admiral Harris stood on the bridge of the flagship Defender, heart pounding. The scanners showed hundreds of enemy vessels, larger and faster than anything Terran engineers had ever seen. A cold silence fell over the crew as they prepared for the inevitable strike. Suddenly, the Empire's scouts launched a sudden attack, streaking across space like deadly comets. Laser beams lit up the void, cutting through darkness and metal alike. Terran ships fired back, but the alien shields absorbed most of the impact. Explosions rocked the fleet, sending shudders through every vessel. Pilots shouted orders, engines screamed, and in the chaos, Harris realized the battle would not be easily won. Dr. Lena Ortiz monitored the battlefield from Earth Command, analyzing every movement. "They're predictable in formation," she whispered. "If we can bait them into the trench near Titan Station, we might have a chance." Harris received the message and gave the order, though uncertainty weighed heavily on him. It was a risky plan. One false move could annihilate the entire Terran fleet. As the Terran ships lured the Empire into position, a hidden fleet emerged from the shadows. Harris's eyes widened. These were unknown vessels, larger than any Terran ship, moving with precision and deadly intent. "Could this be the ally Dr. Ortiz mentioned?" a young officer asked nervously. Harris didn't answer, instead gripping the console, feeling a cold wave of dread. The trap was set. Terran ships unleashed concentrated fire, exploiting the enemy's weak points. Imperial vessels began to falter, shields flickering, engines stuttering. A roar of excitement swept through the Terran fleet, but it was short-lived. The hidden ships shifted, revealing their true allegiance. The Empire had a secret division far stronger than anyone had imagined. Explosions erupted across space. Terran pilots dodged deadly strikes, and Harris barked orders, sweat running down his face. Every second was a gamble. Amid the chaos, Lena detected a possible weak signal, an encrypted transmission from the mysterious ally. It might turn the tide, but intercepting it meant risking everything. The battle raged on, the void filled with fire and shadows, victory and defeat entwined. Harris knew the cost would be high, and that Earth's fate depended on bravery, cunning, and a bit of luck. The Empire was relentless, and Terran forces were only beginning to understand the war they had truly entered. After the chaos of the first clash, Terran ships regrouped in the outer orbit, battered but alive. Smoke and debris floated silently in the void, a grim reminder of the Empire's strength. Admiral Harris stared at the holographic displays, his mind racing. Every scan revealed a disturbing truth. The Empire had forces far beyond what they had imagined. Yet, in the midst of the threat, Dr. Lena Ortiz noticed something unusual. "Admiral, look here," Lena said, pointing at a series of patterns in the Empire's ship movements. "They repeat the same maneuver every time they attack. It's almost like a rhythm. If we can predict it, we might have a chance to turn the battle around." Harris leaned closer, tension tightening in his chest. Could this be the weakness they had been searching for? The council convened urgently. Scientists, pilots, and military strategists crowded around the table. Lena explained her discovery in simple terms, showing how the Empire's advanced ships relied heavily on a central command frequency. "If we disrupted, even briefly, we could disable their coordination," she said. Murmurs filled the room. This was risky, but it was their only hope. Harris authorized the plan. Terran engineers worked feverishly to modify their communication arrays into an interference weapon. Pilots drilled for precise timing, knowing that one mistake could spell disaster. Across Earth, civilians held their breath as news of the Terran fleet's daring plan leaked, mixing fear with cautious hope. When the moment arrived, Terran ships approached the Empire fleet under the cover of a false retreat. Harris gave the order to deploy the signal disruptor. The effect was immediate. Imperial ships faltered, engines stuttering, shields flickering, formations breaking apart like sand in a storm. Pilots seized the opportunity, striking weak points with laser fire and precision missiles. But just as victory seemed within reach, an unexpected transmission appeared, an encrypted warning in a language Terrans barely recognized. The Empire had anticipated interference, and a hidden countermeasure began to activate. Alarms blared, and ships shuddered under the strain. Harris realized that the true test had only just begun. Amid the chaos, Lena worked desperately to recalibrate the signal, hoping to regain the advantage. Every second counted. Every decision weighed the fate of Earth itself. And as the first rays of a new day touched the horizon of Terran space, the fleet braced for the next wave of the Empire's fury, more deadly, more cunning, and more relentless than ever before.
The Empire was not defeated. Far beyond Terran orbit, Admiral Kale of the Empire watched the failed Terran attack with cold fury. "They dare challenge us," he growled, fingers clenching over the control console. His fleet had sustained damage, but now he had a new strategy, one designed to crush Earth's defenses completely. Back on Earth, Terran forces had just begun to celebrate their small victory when alarms blared across the fleet. The Empire had launched a full-scale assault, faster and stronger than anything Terran eyes had seen before. Massive warships emerged from hidden hyperspace lanes, engines glowing like molten fire. Terran pilots scrambled to intercept, but panic rippled through the fleet. Admiral Harris barked orders from the Defender. "Form the perimeter, protect the civilians, do not let them breach the inner orbit." Every pilot felt the weight of the command. Blasters fired, missiles streaked through the void, and explosions shook the fleet. Ships were torn apart in seconds. Smoke and debris spun in the darkness, painting a deadly ballet across space. Dr. Lena Ortiz monitored the attack from Earth Command, her hands shaking. "Their formations, they're using a new pattern. We've never seen this before," she shouted. Harris listened carefully. Every moment of hesitation could cost lives. He realized that the Empire had learned from their previous mistake. They were smarter, faster, and more dangerous than ever. Amid the chaos, a small Terran squadron discovered a vulnerable flank in the Empire's fleet. Lieutenant Chen shouted over comms, "We can hit their supply line, Admiral. It's our only chance." Harris made the split-second decision. The squadron raced through enemy fire, dodging beams and debris, aiming for the weak point. The risk was enormous. Failure meant annihilation. As the squadron struck, the Empire faltered briefly, giving Terran forces a glimmer of hope. But then, without warning, a massive energy wave erupted from the Empire's command ship, disabling shields across the fleet. Ships spun helplessly, and alarms screamed. Terran forces braced for impact, hearts racing, knowing that the battle had only just begun. Harris clenched his fists, staring at the endless void. Earth's fate hung by a thread. Civilians, soldiers, and leaders all felt the same fear. The Empire had struck back with full force, and survival depended on courage, cunning, and an unbroken will to fight. The night of terror in space was far from over.
Amid the wreckage of the orbital battle, Terran forces regrouped. Ships floated damaged,
engines sputtering and smoke drifting through the silent void. The Empire's attack had been brutal, leaving no doubt about their power. Admiral Harris stood on the bridge of the Defender, jaw tight, scanning the chaos. Just when hope seemed dim, an unexpected signal appeared on the communication console, an unknown frequency, encrypted but unmistakably sent toward Terran forces. Dr. Lena Ortiz leaned forward, eyes wide. "This isn't from the Empire. Someone else, someone out there wants to help us." Harris studied the data. Could they trust this unknown ally, or was it a trap? Every second wasted debating risked lives. Finally, Harris made the call. "Prepare to meet them. This could change everything." Moments later, a fleet of sleek alien ships emerged from a hidden hyperspace corridor. Their design was unlike anything Terran engineers had seen. Organic curves, shimmering hulls, and energy shields that seemed alive. The ships positioned themselves around the Terran fleet, forming a protective barrier. The crew gasped. Could these mysterious beings be the help they so desperately needed? Lena quickly analyzed the Allies' technology, finding it compatible with Terran systems. "We can integrate their weapons with ours," she said, excitement replacing fear. Pilots were briefed on new maneuvers, and the morale of Terran forces surged. For the first time in days, the hope of survival felt real. But the Empire had not gone unnoticed. Admiral Kale detected the alien fleet and snarled in anger. "So, they have friends. Then we shall teach them the meaning of defeat." He commanded his ships to attack, but now Terran forces had the edge. Coordinated strikes, combined weapons, and superior maneuvers pushed the Empire back. For the first time, Harris saw enemy ships retreating. Yet suspense lingered. The alien allies had not revealed their true power or intentions. Were they genuinely benevolent, or was there a hidden agenda? Harris couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy was more dangerous than anyone had imagined. As the battle waned, Terran ships repaired and regrouped, their spirits lifted but alertness sharpened. The mysterious fleet hovered silently, watching, waiting. Harris looked at Lena and said, "We've gained an ally, but this war is far from over. The Empire will return, stronger than ever." The stars above Terran space seemed quieter now, but every crew member knew the calm was temporary. Something greater, more powerful, was lurking in the shadows of the galaxy, and humanity had only begun to confront it. The galaxy was quiet, for now. While Terran forces repaired and trained alongside their mysterious allies, Admiral Harris knew the Empire would strike again. But Earth needed more than defense. It needed intelligence. A secret mission was planned. A spy would infiltrate the Empire's fleet and uncover their next move. Lieutenant Aaron Cade, Terran's best agent, prepared for the operation. Clad in a stealth suit and equipped with advanced cloaking tech, Aaron boarded a small reconnaissance vessel. His heart raced as he slipped past the patrols, the void of space stretching endlessly around him. Every second brought danger, but failure was not an option. Earth's survival depended on what he discovered. Inside the Empire's fleet, Aaron fed among massive warships, blending perfectly with shadows. The ships were alive with activity. Officers shouted orders, engineers calibrated weapons, and massive energy beams hummed with lethal power. Aaron's mission was simple: access the command archives and transmit vital data back to Terran Command. Simple, but impossible. As he navigated the corridors, he overheard whispers of a new weapon, an orbital cannon capable of destroying entire cities from space. Panic surged through him. If the Empire activated it, millions could die instantly. He had to get the information back to Harris, but an unexpected patrol cornered him. Aaron's heart pounded. Seconds felt like hours. Using a mix of agility and quick thinking, he dodged detection, narrowly escaping through a maintenance shaft.
Reaching the archives, he hacked the mainframe, downloading schematics, coordinates, and codes. Just as alarms blared, the Empire had noticed the breach. He activated a cloaked escape route, hurtling back into the void. Communications were scrambled, tension sky-high. Would the data reach Terran command in time? Meanwhile, Harris watched the encrypted signal flicker on the monitor. Aaron's transmission arrived with critical intel. The Empire planned a surprise attack on Terran orbital cities, including New York and Titan Station. The fleet mobilized immediately, defensive systems activating, ships racing to intercept. The revelation shook everyone. Civilians below were unaware, but Terran leaders knew the stakes had just multiplied. The Empire's cunning was greater than anyone had imagined, and the spies' courage had given them a fighting chance, but it was a fragile one. Harris clenched his fists, staring into the endless darkness. One misstep, one delay, and the Empire could annihilate Earth. And somewhere in the vast galaxy, Lieutenant Aaron Cade raced against time, the weight of humanity pressing on every move.
The calm before the storm shattered as the Empire's fleet reappeared on Terran sensors. This time, they came not as scouts, but as a full-scale invasion. Massive warships blotted out stars, engines glowing like molten fire. Terran ships scrambled into formation, energy shields humming, weapons primed. Admiral Harris stood on the bridge of the Defender, jaw tight, knowing that every second would test their courage and skill. The first volleys lit up space. Lasers streaked across the void, missiles arced in deadly curves, and explosions rocked both fleets. Terran pilots dodged and fired, their maneuvers precise, but the Empire's superior numbers pressed them hard. Alarms screamed across every bridge, and Harris barked orders, his voice cutting through the chaos. Hold the perimeter, protect Titan Station, do not let them breach the inner orbit. Dr. Lena Ortiz worked frantically from Earth Command, guiding Terran ships through weak points she had analyzed. Target the supply lines, strike where their shields flicker, she shouted. Terran forces adjusted instantly, exploiting the brief vulnerabilities in the Empire's formation. For a moment, hope sparked amid the destruction. But the Empire had anticipated this. From the shadows of space, massive hidden vessels emerged, their size dwarfing Terran ships. Their arrival created a deadly trap. Pilots were caught in crossfire, and several ships were destroyed before anyone could react. Harris gritted his teeth. Every move now carried the weight of life and death. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Aaron Cade, still in the Empire fleet, relayed critical intel in real time. His spy work gave Terran forces a chance to counter the ambush, redirecting fire and avoiding the worst hits. Without his daring efforts, the battle might already have been lost. Amid the chaos, the mysterious alien allies deployed their advanced technology. Energy shields flared, turning the tide in key sectors. Terran ships used combined attacks, pushing the Empire back, yet every victory was temporary. The enemy adapted rapidly, forcing constant strategic shifts. The void of Terran orbit became a deadly battlefield. Light and shadow twisting in endless motion. Explosions, maneuvers, and desperate tactics filled every second. Harris knew that this battle would decide the fate of Earth, but even as hope surged, a quiet dread lingered. The Empire's true power had not yet revealed itself, and the next strike could destroy them all.
The battle raged for hours in Terran orbit, stars streaking with fire and debris. Terran ships, battered but determined, fought with everything they had learned from past encounters. Admiral Harris watched the chaos from the bridge of the Defender, heart pounding as fleets clashed in a deadly dance. Every ship destroyed or saved felt like a gamble with Earth's survival hanging in the balance. Dr. Lena Ortiz monitored critical points in the Empire's formation. "Their command ships are exposed," she shouted. "If we hit them now, we can break their control." Harris didn't hesitate. Terran forces concentrated fire on the exposed vessels. Explosions tore through enemy lines, and the Empire's tightly coordinated fleet faltered. For the first time, a glimmer of victory appeared. The mysterious alien allies joined key strikes, their advanced weapons cutting through the Empire's defenses. Pilots cheered as enemy ships faltered, retreating into the void. Harris allowed himself a brief sigh of relief. "We may actually survive this," he murmured. But the Empire's retreat was not total surrender. Hidden divisions of their fleet vanished into distant hyperspace lanes, leaving behind debris, but promising to return. The victory was hard-won, but incomplete. Civilians below celebrated cautiously, unaware of the lurking threat. Earth had survived the first major strike, but the war was far from over. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Aaron Cade, still inside enemy territory, transmitted his final intel. "The Empire is reorganizing. They know we survived, and they will plan a counterattack. Watch the shadows. They will not give up." Harris received the message, jaw tightening. Even in retreat, the Empire remained dangerous, cunning, and relentless. As Terran forces repaired and regrouped, Harris addressed the Council. "We've won today, but let this victory remind us, the galaxy is vast, and threats are always closer than they appear. We must prepare, or Earth will pay the price next time." Lena nodded, already analyzing new strategies to counter the enemy's next moves. In the quiet aftermath, the stars seemed deceptively calm. But somewhere beyond known space, the Empire's commanders plotted. Their fury was unmatched, their resolve unbroken. Earth had won this battle, but the war was far from over.
The debris of battle floated silently in Terran orbit, a grim reminder of the war that had tested humanity to its limits. Admiral Harris walked across the bridge of the Defender, surveying the repaired ships and the relieved but vigilant crew. Earth had survived, but the memory of destruction and loss remained vivid in every eye. Dr. Lena Ortiz worked tirelessly alongside engineers and pilots, integrating alien technology into Terran defenses. "We're stronger now than ever before," she said, her voice steady despite exhaustion. The mysterious allies remained at a distance, their motives still unclear, yet their contributions had tipped the scales in humanity's favor. Terran forces had learned, adapted, and grown. Across the planet, cities celebrated cautiously. The warships in orbit sent reassuring messages to civilians, but Harris knew better. This victory was hard-earned and temporary. "We've shown the Empire we are not weak," he said in a council briefing, "but this war is far from over. Every defense we build, every alliance we forge, matters for the battles yet to come." The spy, Lieutenant Aaron Cade, returned safely from the Empire's fleet, carrying invaluable intelligence. His bravery had saved countless lives, and his presence reminded everyone that courage in the face of overwhelming odds could change destiny. Harris commended him quietly, knowing that heroes often worked in the shadows. Yet even as Earth strengthened, shadows lingered. Hidden fleets, unknown enemies, and whispers from deep space hinted at future threats. Harris stared at the stars, the calm of the night belying the dangers beyond. The galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and filled with beings far more powerful than humanity could imagine. As the sun rose over Terran cities, illuminating repaired fleets and bustling command centers, hope and vigilance coexisted. Humanity had survived the Empire's wrath, forged alliances, and learned the cost of courage. But the war for Terran space had only begun. Somewhere, beyond known stars, the Empire was regrouping, planning its return. Harris turned to Lena and said, "We've won this battle. The next one will define our place in the galaxy." She nodded, understanding that vigilance, strategy, and unity would be humanity's greatest weapons. The stars shone above, serene yet ominous, promising new challenges, new battles, and the unending test of survival. Earth had stood against the Empire, and humanity's story was far from over.